Listen, if you earned conditionally 100,000 for even score, what percentage would you spend on about Understandably, there's a bunch of all sorts of expenses and investments, and to eat and still to pay something. But you have beautiful walls, beautiful ceiling, beautiful window, and now conditionally you have come to that standard of living. When your life has to come painting from 100,000, or 5%, or 10%, or 50%, you will make an immediate investment. And what arguments support this choice? Argument type beautiful, perhaps not very strong, possibly stronger. Argument is some investment, and if such a conversation came, that is, some parameters for that. To evaluate this investment, I think in first place it's probably the name of the artist, which should forgive and develop, and maybe even then don't care. What did he draw there? What you'll think? Weird question. And here is the first moment. Would be nice to she responds to your inner state. This is the first moment is more interesting. It would be nice for her to respond to the wrong state, which you are in, and to which you aspire. Here's the third moment. He is even more interesting. It would be nice for her to position you as a person. What are you trying to become? Who you aspire to be. This is how growth clothes happen. So is the picture of social moral growth. Spiritual, and now again the same question. How much are you willing to pay for that marker of your height? Write in the comments. What do you think about this? A gallery of my paintings. See in the description of the video and in the profile cap like. My name is Eduard Kichigin. And from what damn standard of living can you even think about that? What to your dwelling? You can attach such an idea to your house, like the painting gallery in my house, or my mansion. What standard of living is this at all? I'm trying to turn my studio into a gallery of paintings. Of course they're paintings. Well, here I guess. For example, you have covered basic needs. What to eat, where to live, eat. And this thing is developing a little. Have an apartment. There is a separate house, which is out of town. There is some plot and everything is fine. Everything is fine, and for the next 10 years everything will be fine. And at what point does this flip happen? When you start thinking that it would be nice to acquire a work of art. And why? Well, you can chilly all your life and enjoy. There to eat, drink, sleep, and engage in all sorts of indiscretions. But still comes the same moment when you realize, what here is art. And I want my house. This is art. When at what level of basic needs closure? Why can a person snap like this? I'm straight very interested in this question. What do you think, right? And I'm trying to understand. How do I get more intense? Run, here's a draft, which is a little delayed. I found myself stations of St. Petersburg, and maybe train stations all over Russia. This is a straight up very interesting topic. See the gallery of my paintings in the description video and in the profile cap like. What do you think about commitment, about business obligations, about price words, about arrangements? Here I sit again with a brain takeaway. My practice situation. In order to move yourself out of place, I do that's what I negotiate. That's some things I will do, and usually agree with Natalia, superb Natalia from Rome. We call up every Tuesday, and that's it. That's a time point, makes me act up somehow, something to do. And this time we agree. My big picture I will draw without watercolor technique and without any help to myself. Here with these watercolor blurs and other nonsense, and draw in clean graphics. I still have no idea how to do this. Well, that is, there should be such a style, like in my sketchbooks, and how to transfer it to a huge sheet. My God, what happens in short today is Sunday and until Tuesday, until the evening to 7 o'clock. There is very little time left during the call, and I have nothing ready yet. What to do? But here is this situation. Xian just shoves me for that, to doing something, to fulfill agreements, which I actually scored on. Write in the comments, does this help you? Have you tried such a thing? From my point of view, it's super effective. This is just mega effective, like subscription. My name is Eduard Kichigin. Big problem. How to make a lot of money and how do I solve a super difficult situation with my portfolio of paintings. I have heard enough of all sorts of videos on YouTube, and their speaker spoke so that people happily give money for you. That's not the amount of views your content has. And how effective is your offer on the site, on the landing page, on your say one-sided, in which your sentence and convert visitor to beer happens exactly like this, exactly there. It's his opinion, but actually I temporarily agreed with this idea. Temporarily, in order to test, maybe a month, maybe two, and think actively to improve. Well, here's a one-page idea, for example. Where does the person come? He goes on every convincing him, moments of concepts, and then bams, and he's a beer. Interesting. I practically did not climb into this topic. I definitely didn't rest on since he rested on the media, in the accumulation of views of subscribers. Maybe it's in the boarding room, page and there is a point of sale. That's what you think, write in the comments. According to your sales experience, if you have sales experience, what is more important, traffic or converting page? Site. In beer, what you'll think, like, subscription. My name is Eduard Kichigin. Well, in short, crazy news, completely spontaneous, came towards the sketches at the Vicart store, and they're accidentally met with management. Ended up spontaneously agreeing what to start selling some elements of my merch. In particular, we are talking about circles. Still had a cool idea at the coffee shop at the store. You can sell coffee in paper cups with elements of my landscape architectural projects right there. Tested the idea on students who hung out in a cafe. Well, listen, they really liked it, and this idea was suggested by Mark, which organizes meetings of sketches in St. If you are interested in the topic of sketching and you want to meet such events take place and announcements. And also from Mark I got a gift, very pretty feather pen, and I had the idea to make my merch in the form of a signature fountain pen, and possibly and even a whole set of artistic tools with my crush initials, graphics, and possibly with Latin quotes. Veni, Vidi, Visa, came saw, from Julius Caesar the Great and Terrible. And you think a good idea? Write in comment, like, repost, or follow. My name is Eduard Kichigin.